So we were on chapter 2. So now we saw that Krishna, um, like Yogamaya and Balram would appear along with Krishna. That's what it was said. So Krishna and Yogamaya appeared as both as brother and sister, the supreme powerful and the supreme power. Although there is no clear distinction between the powerful and the power is always subordinate to the powerful. So, so powerful is Lord Krishna, and power is all us living entities. And also Yogamaya is power. She can't be called as powerful. Those who are materialistic are worshippers of power, but those who are transcendentalists are worshippers of powerful. Krishna is the supreme powerful, and Durga is the supreme power within the material world. Okay, so the source is powerful, and the result is power. Okay, so the source is Krishna, and the result or the energy of Krishna is Durga, or us living entities. So we can call ourselves as the power of Krishna. We can't call ourselves as powerful. Actually, people in the Vedic culture worship both the powerful and power. There are many hundreds and thousands of temples of Vishnu and Devi, and sometimes they are worshipped simultaneously. The worshipper of power, Durga, or external energy of Krishna may achieve all kinds of material success very easily, but anyone who wants to be elevated transcendentally must engage in worshipping the powerful in Krishna consciousness. So you can get temporary benefits from such demigods like Durga, Ganesha, or Shiva. But if you want the transcendental benefit, like from your life after life, you want some benefit of worship of Krishna and the bliss you get out of worshipping Krishna, which is your like our supreme form. Our form is to serve Krishna. Our eternal form, eternal form is to serve Krishna. So if we want to reveal our eternal form, or we want to we are estimating to go sometime to back to Godhead, so we should concentrate on Krishna consciousness instead of becoming demigod conscious. The Lord also declared to Yogamaya, my planetary expansion Anantasesha is within the womb of Devaki. On the account of being forcibly attracted to womb of Rohini, he will be known as Sankarshana and will be source of all spiritual power or bala, by which one can attain the highest bliss of life, which is called Ramana. So Rama is bliss. So that's why he is called Balarama. So what it is said that he will be known as Sankarshana. Why he is called as Sankarshana? Because he was his expansion Antasesha within the womb of Devaki will be transferred to Rohini's womb. So that's why it is called Sankarshana. He is being transferred forcibly. So that's why he is called Sankarshana. By the help of Yogamaya, he was transferred to Rohini's womb. And he will be source of all spiritual power or bala, and which one can attain the highest, by which one can attain the highest bliss of life, or Ramana. Therefore the plenary portion Ananta will be known after his appearance either as Sankarshana or as Balram. Okay, so that's why we can be asked that what is the significance of the name Sankarshana. So because he was by force transferred from Mother Rohini's womb to Devaki's womb to Mother Rohini's womb. That's why he is called Sankarshana. And why he is called Balram? Because Bala is a spiritual power, and by which one can attain the highest bliss of life. He is the source of spiritual power. So by remembering Balram, one can attain happiness or bliss. So that's why he is called Balaram. In Upanishads, it is stated Nayam Atma Balahinena Labhya. The purport is that one cannot attain the supreme platform of self-realization without being sufficiently favored by Balaram. Bala does not mean physical strength. No one can attain spiritual perfection by physical strength. One must have the spiritual strength which is infused by Balrama or Sankarshan, Ananta or Shesha, is the source of power which sustains all planets in their different positions. So Balram as Ananta Shesha with his multifarious hoods, like multi hoods, he sustains the whole universe and he holds it. So that's why he is the source of power which sustains the planets in their different positions. So no planet moves from one position to another position. So that's the reason, because Balrama is holding all the planetary systems at its place. Materially, this sustaining power is known as the law of gravitation, but actually it is a display of potency of Sankarshana. So we can call it as a gravitational. That's why the planet Guru is called Guru. So Balrama is Guru Tattva. So in which Guru planet is the most heaviest planet, and it is said that the gravitational force in Guru planet is the highest. So so Balrama is also Guru and is related to gravitational force. Or the origin spiritual master, the source of spiritual power or spiritual master. Therefore, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he is also the incarnation of Balrama, is the origin spiritual master. And the spiritual master is the representation of Balram, the form of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who supplies spiritual strength. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is confirmed that spiritual master is the manifestation of mercy of Krishna. So Balrama is the spiritual master in one sense, and he is the or the spiritual master is the representative of Balrama, we can say. Thus, ordered by Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yogamaya circumambulated the Lord and then appeared within this material world according to his order. When Yogamaya, the supreme power of personality, of supremely powerful personality of Godhead, transferred Lord Shesha from womb of Devaki to womb of Rohini, both Devaki and Rohini were under Yogamaya's spell, which is called Yoga Nidra. So they all both were sleeping at that time. When this was done, people thought that Devaki's seventh pregnancy had been a miscarriage. Thus, although Balrama appeared as son of Devaki, he was transferred to the womb of Rohini to appear as her son. After this arrangement, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, who is always ready to protect his unalloyed devotees, entered within the mind of Vasudeva. So here we can say that when Rohini, when Balram was transferred to Rohini's womb from Devaki's womb, nobody realized it, even not these mothers, because they both were under Yoga Nidra, or they both were sleeping at that time. He was transferred by force by Yogamaya. So people thought that Devaki had a pregnancy, but she got miscarriage. Okay, after this arrangement, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, who is always ready to protect his unalloyed devotees, entered within the mind of Vasudeva as the Lord of the whole creation with full inconceivable potencies. It is understood in this connection that Lord Krishna first of all situated himself in unalloyed heart of Vasudeva and was then transferred to heart of Devaki. So this is how God takes his birth. It's not by like we all material living being, we come by the union of mother and father. But here we can see that he, Lord Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, he doesn't have a normal birth. So how does he appear? He appeared first in mind of Vasudeva. From mind of Vasudeva, he within his mind of Vasudeva, and then he was transferred. He entered the heart of Vasudeva, and from heart of Vasudeva, he was transferred to heart of Devaki. So, because devotees have relationship with God by heart, so that's why it is said that when we also clean our heart, our heart is clean with we clean our dirt of material existence from the heart, we can sit Krishna in our heart. So Vasudeva was such a devotee that he could keep Krishna in his heart. And the Rohini's heart and womb was also cleared previously by the entrance of Balrama, as we saw in our last lesson. Okay. He was not put into womb of Devaki by seminal discharge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead by inconceivable potency can appear in any way. It is not necessary for him to appear in ordinary way by seminal injection within the womb of woman. Okay. Okay. When Vasudeva was sustaining the form of Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, he appeared just like a glowing sun, whose shining rays are always unbearable and scorching to common man. The form of Lord situated in the pure unalloyed heart of Vasudeva is not different from the original form of Krishna. The appearance of the form of Krishna anywhere and specifically within the heart is called Dhamma. Dhamma refers not only to Krishna's form but also to his name, his quality, his paraphernalia. Everything becomes manifested simultaneously. So whenever a devotee keeps Krishna in his heart, you can see sometimes some devotees, like in Vrindavan especially, you will see very they look very glorious, they look very bright, or like they have different kind of effulgence on their face and their body. So because they are always keeping Krishna in their heart, so that's why they look very opulent than the other normal human beings or the mundane people. So, and the heart where Krishna resides is called Dhama. That's why Vrindavan is called Dhama. And it is said that Govardhan hill is also Krishna's heart. Okay. So this is the purport why Govardhan hill is called Krishna's heart. Thus, the eternal form of Supreme Personality of Godhead within full potencies was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to mind of Devaki, exactly as setting sun's rays are transferred to full moon rising in the east. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thus entered the body of Devaki from body of Vasudeva without being subject to any of the conditions of the ordinary living entity. Since Krishna was there, it is to be understood that all his plenary expansions such as Narayana and incarnations like Lord Narsimha and Varaha were with him, and they also were not subject to the condition of material existence. In this way, Devaki became the residence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is one without a second. and the cause of all creations. Devaki became the residence of the absolute truth. But because she was confined within the house of Kansa, she looked just like a suppressed fire or like a misused education. When fire is kept in a jug, the illuminating rays of fire cannot be very much appreciated. Similarly, the misused knowledge which does not benefit in people in general is not very much appreciated. So Devaki was kept within the prison of wall of Kamsa's place, and no one could see her transcendental beauty, which resulted from her conceiving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when a devotee keeps Krishna in his heart, he is very effulgent. So we can imagine that Devaki, when she begot Krishna in like she was carrying Krishna in his womb, how effulgent she would be. And by looking at her effulgence, Kansa really doubted it. We'll see in the next paragraphs that Kansa really doubted that why she is suddenly looking so bright and beautiful. So because Krishna makes everything very auspicious, that's why she looked like that. But it is said that because she was in the prison house, that's why nobody could realize this. And the same way, when we have some education, we have some good spiritual knowledge, and if we don't share with the people, it is the same thing that we have Krishna in our heart, but we don't want to give him to others. So this analogy is given here. Kamsa, however, saw the transcendental beauty of his sister Devaki, and he at once concluded that the Supreme Personality of Godhead had taken shelter in her womb. She had never before looked so wonderfully beautiful. He could distinctly understand that there was something wonderful within the womb of Devaki. In this way, Kamsa became perturbed because he was sure that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who would kill him in future, had now come. Kamsa began to think, what is to be done with Devaki? Surely she has Vishnu or Krishna within her womb. So it is certain that Krishna has come to execute the mission of demigods. And even if I immediately kill Devaki, his mission cannot be frustrated. Kamsa knew very well that no one can frustrate the purpose of Vishnu. So he started thinking now. He was perturbed, and he was very much confused about what to do now, and he was very much afraid. In fact, in a way, any intelligent man can understand that the law of God cannot be violated. His purpose will be served in spite of all impediments offered by the demons. So he started thinking that now this child has already taken shelter in his sister's womb. So now what can be done? Because anyhow, when Vishnu or Krishna decides, that thing happens. So whatever Krishna wishes, that only happens. Krishna knew very well that no one can frustrate the purpose of Kamsa. Knew that no one can frustrate purpose of Vishnu. Any intelligent man can understand that law of God cannot be violated. His purpose will be served in spite of all impediments offered by Kamsa. If I kill Devaki at present moment, Vishnu will enforce his supreme will more vehemently. To kill Devaki just now would be a most abominable activity. No one desires to kill his reputation. Even in an awkward situation, if I kill Devaki now, my reputation will be spoiled. Devaki is a woman and she is under my shelter. She is pregnant, and if I kill her, immediately my reputation, the result of my pious activities, and my duration of life will all be finished. So even Kansa knew that by killing a woman or a dependent person or a child or an old age man, you get unimaginable sins. So this is the fact, and he knew that time. So he thought not to kill his sister. He further deliberated, a person who is too cruel is as good as dead. Even in this lifetime, no one likes a cruel person during his lifetime, and after his death, people curse him. On account of his self identification with the body, he must be degraded and pushed into the darkest region of hell. Kamsa thus meditated on all the pros and cons of killing Devaki at that time. Kamsa finally decided not to kill Devaki right away, but to wait for inevitable future. But his mind became absorbed in animosity against the personality of Godhead. So he was so much, he had so much enmity to personality of Godhead. So he was like he thought that let us wait for my inevitable future. He patiently waited for the delivery of the child, expecting to kill him as he had done previously with other babies of Devaki, thus being merged in the ocean of animosity against the personality of Godhead. He began to think of Krishna or Vishnu while sitting, while sleeping, while walking, while eating, while working. In all situations of life, his mind became so much absorbed with the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that indirectly he could see only Krishna or Vishnu around him. Unfortunately, although his mind was so absorbed in thought of Vishnu, he is not recognized as a devotee because he was thinking of Krishna as an enemy. The state of mind of a great devotee is also be always absorbed in Krishna. So this is the difference. Like Kamsa was always remembering Krishna somehow or other, but that was in a different way. Like Kamsa was always thinking of Krishna in in an enmity way, and devotee is always remembering Krishna in a devotional way. So that is a very huge and vast difference between these two things. The state of mind of a great devotee is also be always observed in Krishna, but the devotee thinks of him favorably, not unfavorably. To think of Krishna favorably is Krishna conscious, but to think of Krishna unfavorably is not Krishna conscious. So we know that Kamsa, he also was killed by Krishna. So whoever gets killed by the hands of Krishna, whoever is killed by Krishna, he gets liberated. So ultimately devotees also get liberated, and Kamsa is also liberated. So what is the difference, some might ask? But see, when devotee gets liberated, he goes back to Godhead, where Krishna is there, and he is eternally serving to Krishna, and from there he will never come back. But when the people like Kamsa is being killed, they go just to some other like Brahma, like the Brahman, the Brahma Jyoti, or the other Vaikuntha planets or somewhere, and then there are chances to come back. So so that is the difference between when the devotee goes back to Godhead, and the demon is killed by Krishna and goes to the and takes the like liberation. So that's not actual liberation. They might come back, but when devotee goes, that is called devotion, liberation, and they don't come back. At this time, Lord Balrama or Lord Shiva, accompanied by great sages like Narada and followed by many other demigods, invisibly appeared in the house of Kamsa. They began to pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in select verses, which are very pleasing to the devotees, which award fulfillment to their desires. The first words they spoke acclaimed that the Lord is true to his vow. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna descends to this material world just to protect the pious and destroy the impious. This is the vow. This is his vow. The demigods could understand that the Lord had taken his residence in the womb of Devaki to fulfill his vow, and they were very glad that Lord was appearing in order to fulfill his mission. So the demigods, they went to Kamsa's house and they started praying to the Lord, and they were very much glad that finally Lord is appearing for fulfillment of his mission. What is the mission of Krishna's appearance? Is to annihilate the demons and to please the devotees, or to save the saintly personalities. Then the demigods addressed the Lord as Satyam Param, or Supreme Absolute Truth. Satyam Param Dhimahi. There is a verse in Bhagavatam. So he is Param Satya, Absolute Truth. Everyone is searching after the truth. That is the philosophical way of life. The demigods give information that Supreme Personality of Supreme Absolute Truth is Krishna. One who becomes fully Krishna conscious can attain Absolute Truth. Krishna is the Absolute Truth because unlike relative truth, he is truth in all the three phases of eternal time. Time is divided into past, present and future. Krishna is the truth always, past, present and future. In material world, everything is being controlled by the supreme time in the course of past, present and future. But before the creation, Krishna was existing, and when there is creation, everything is resting in Krishna, and when this creation is finished, Krishna will remain. Therefore, he is the absolute truth in all circumstances. If there is any truth within this material world, it emanates from the supreme truth, Krishna. And if there is if there is any opulence within this material world, the cause of opulence is Krishna. And if there is any reputation within this material world, the cause of reputation is also Krishna. If there is any strength within this material world, the cause of such strength is Krishna. There is some wisdom and education within this material world, the cause of such wisdom and education is Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is the source of all relative truths. So, because Krishna is the source of six opulences, right? All knowledge, all beauty, all renunciation, all fame, all wealth, all strength. Okay, so we saw it till now. So anything out of these six or more, like this six includes everything, right? So everything comes out of it is sourced by Krishna. And Krishna is the supreme source of everything. In Bhagavad Gita there is verse aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. So Krishna says, I am the source of all material and spiritual worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly knows this engages in my devotional service and worship me with all his heart. So this is the Chaturshloki Gita. In 10.8 Krishna says this verse. So in the Gita he claims that I am the source of everything. This material world is composed of 5 principal elements: earth, water, air, fire and ether. And all such elements are emanation from Krishna. The material scientists accept. So in verse 10.8 he says, I am the source of all material and spiritual world. So in the material world we see earth, water, air, fire and ether. And in spiritual world, like it is, everything is spiritual. So he is the source of even spiritual world. Okay, not only material world. So material scientists accept these 5 primary elements as the cause of material manifestation, but the elements in their gross and subtle states are produced by Krishna. The living entities who are working within this material world are products of his marginal potency. In 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that the whole manifestation is the combination of two energies of Krishna, the superior energy and the inferior energy. The living entities are superior energy and the dead material elements are the inferior energy, and in this dormant state everything remains in Krishna. So as we saw in Bhagavad Gita introduction also, that this marginal energy is composed of mainly superior energy and inferior energy. So superior energy of the material world is living entity, and the inferior energy is Prakriti or the material nature. And the living entity tries to dominate the material nature, but in a way he is controlled by the material nature always. So how material nature controls the living entity? By imposing him into three modes of material nature, like Rajogun, Tamogun and Satyagun. So mode of goodness, mode of passion and mode of ignorance. So this is also material nature, and that's how conditioned living entity is always bound by these three modes of material nature. He can never come out. So although he thinks that he is dominating the material world, but in a way actually material nature is dominating, is actually guiding the living entity. So he is totally bound by these three modes of material nature. The demigods continued to offer their respectful prayers into supreme form of personality of Godhead Krishna by analytical study of material manifestation. What is a material manifestation? It is just like a tree. A tree stands on the ground. Similarly, the tree of material manifestation is standing on the ground of material nature. This material manifestation is compared to a tree because tree is ultimately cut off due to course of time. The tree is called vriksha. Vriksha means the thing which will be ultimately cut off. Vru and ksha. Ksha means to cut off something. So vriksha. So therefore this tree of material manifestation cannot be accepted as ultimate truth. Therefore it is influenced by the time. But Krishna's body is eternal. He existed before the material manifestation. He is existing while the material manifestation is continuing, and when it will be dissolved, he will continue to exist. Therefore, only Krishna can be accepted as absolute truth. So Krishna is always there. He is the supreme personality of Godhead, and everything, because everything emanates from him, so he is the past, present and future. The Katha Upanishad also cites this example of tree of material manifestation standing on the ground of a material nature. This tree has two kinds of fruits, distress and happiness. Those who are living in the tree of body are just like the two birds. One bird is localized aspect of Krishna known as Paramatma, and the other bird is the living entity. The living entity is eating the fruits of this material manifestation. Sometimes he eats the fruit of happiness and sometimes he eats the fruit of distress. But the other bird is not interested in eating fruit of the distress or happiness because he is self-satisfied. Okay, so here the example of a tree is given, and then there is a branch and on which two birds are sitting. Okay, one bird is busy in working, like he is making some karma, he's doing something, and he is reaping the fruits also of happiness and distress, while the other bird is just watching this first bird, and he is not doing anything. Okay, he's just keeping an eye on that. He is not interested in eating the fruit of distress or happiness because he is self-satisfied. So that he is we can compare to first bird to ourselves, and the second bird is Paramatma. Okay. So there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita also that Krishna says that I am the overseer and permitter. Okay. So Krishna is the overseer and permitter. Krishna as a super soul, he oversees and permits also. Whenever we think of doing something and we have a strong desire of some bad thing also, then also Krishna permits us as a very merciful father or so person. But the other bird is not interested. Okay. The Katha Upanishad states that one bird on the tree of the body is eating the fruits and the other bird is simply witnessing the root of the tree extended in three directions. This means that the root of the tree is three modes of material nature: goodness, passion and ignorance. Just as tree's roots expands, so by association of modes of material nature, goodness, passion and ignorance, one expands his duration of material existence. The tastes the tastes of the fruits are four kinds: religiosity, economic development, sense gratification and ultimately liberation. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So these are the taste of the different fruits. So dharma, artha, kama and moksha. So this is our like we are bound by three modes of material nature while in the material nature. So these three roots are what? Mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. Like in a way we associate with these modes, we our life our like different bodies may increase or decrease. Okay. So and duration of material existence means after this life we change to next life as a human being, or we can change our next life to 8.4 million species also. So if we connect with mode of goodness more, then we can have our pure goodness, like devotional service is pure goodness. So if we remain in pure goodness or goodness, we might have the next body as human being and we can again endeavor to worship Lord and try to go back to Godhead. But if we are in passion, then we might get or might not get human body. Okay. And if we are in ignorance completely, we are going into animal species, that is 8.4 millions of animals and the other material creatures. So we can expand or we can reduce the duration of our material existence by associating with these three modes of material nature: goodness, passion and ignorance. And so dharma, artha, kama and moksha are the three fruits which taste like the fruits of the tree. So this is what we are reaping. According to the different association of three modes of material nature, living entity are tasting different kinds of religiosity, different kinds of economic development and different kinds of sense gratification and liberation. Okay. So dharma, artha, kama and moksha. So if one is association with goodness, then he will be reaping the fruits of religiosity. If somebody is more towards mode of passion, then he will be reaping more of this sense gratification or economic development. And okay, then or ignorance also sometimes sense gratification. And for liberation, like mukti, again goodness or passion. Practically all material work is performed in ignorance, but because there are three qualities, sometimes the quality of ignorance is covered by the goodness and passion. The taste of this material fruit is accepted through five senses. Okay. So we are always under this modes. So sometimes we are in mode of goodness and passion, and sometimes we are in ignorance and passion, or sometimes we are in passion and ignorance. So all the time we are working under these three modes of material nature. The five sense organs through which knowledge is acquired are subjected to six kind of whips. So lamentation, illusion, infirmity, death, hunger and thirst. So five kinds of sense organs. Which are the sense organs? So we have our eyes, nose, ears, mouth and the skin. So because of these five sense organs, we go through lamentation, illusion, infirmity, death, hunger and thirst. This material body or material manifestation is covered by 7 layers of skin: muscle, blood, marrow, bone, fat and semen. So 7 layers. This material manifestation or material body is covered by 7 layers. What are those? Skin. Then underneath skin is muscle. Then underneath muscle is blood. Then near to bone or very close to bone is bone marrow. And then there is bone and fat and semen. The branches of the tree are 8: earth, water, air, fire and ether, mind, intelligence and false ego. So these are the branches of the tree. There are 9 gates of its body: 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, 1 mouth, 1 genital and 1 rectum. And there are 10 kinds of internal air passing within the body: prana, apana, udana, vyana, samana. So there are 10 such kind of internal air. So this is explained in Bhagavad Gita very well in the 6th chapter, Jnana Yoga. It is Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga. The 2 birds seated in this tree, as explained above, are living entity, and the localized supreme personality of Godhead is Paramatma. The root cause of material manifestation, I will finish in 5 minutes. Root cause of material manifestation described here is Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expands himself to take charge of the 3 qualities of material world. Vishnu takes charge of the mode of goodness. So yesterday we saw that there is a Guna avatar, right? So these are the Guna avatars of Lord Krishna. So Guna avatars are basically Shirodakshya Vishnu. From Shirodakshya Vishnu, we saw that there is Krishna and then there is quadruple expansion, 2 quadruple expansion. After that Mahavishnu comes. From Mahavishnu, when he enters into each of the universes, he is called Garbhodakshya Vishnu. And Garbhodakshya Vishnu creates Lord Brahma. And from his navel, like Garbhodakshya Vishnu's navel, Brahma takes birth. And Brahma then creates the material living entities and everything. And when the material these living entities are created, into each and every of the living entity and the atoms, Shirodakshya Vishnu enters. Okay. And this Shirodakshya Vishnu takes charge of different kind of incarnations. So there are Guna avatar, Lila avatar. Lila avatar, like we saw last time, there are 24 Lila avatar of Lord Vishnu. They are also coming from Shirodakshya Vishnu. Then there is Guna avatar, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. This is also called Guna avatar. So they are called Guna avatar. They come from Shirodakshya Vishnu. And then there is a Sakya avatar, and there is one more Manvantara avatar. So they there are different kinds of avatar of Lord Vishnu. So Brahma is the charge of mode of passion. Lord Shiva takes charge of mode of ignorance. And Vishnu takes charge of goodness. So Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, they are the symbols of goodness, passion and ignorance. Brahma by mode of passion creates this manifestation. Lord Vishnu maintains this manifestation by his mode of goodness, and Shiva annihilates it by mode of ignorance. So always when you want to create something, you need mode of passion. So Brahma, because he is a creator, he is under mode of passion. Then Vishnu, he for a maintenance you need to be in goodness. So otherwise you cannot maintain something. So Vishnu is is a manifestation of goodness, and Lord Shiva annihilates. So that's why he is using ignorance, mode of ignorance, to annihilate everything. So when you want to destroy something, you need ignorance. The whole creation ultimately rests in Supreme Lord. So Supreme Lord only advises all these Vishnus or Vishnu or Shiva or Brahma to create, annihilate or sustain. So all the Vishnu in a way is following the orders of Lord Krishna, and he is the supreme controller. The whole creation ultimately rests in the Supreme Lord. He is the cause of all creation, maintenance and dissolution. When the whole manifestation is dissolved in its absolute, in its subtle form as his energy, it rests within his body. So when everything is dissolved, when everything is annihilated, everything goes inside this. There is a Vishwaroop of Krishna. So inside that body of we can say Mahavishnu, everything goes inside. And then when there is a time of creation, again everything manifests. And after manifestation, again this Garbhodakshya Vishnu enters into each of the universes and again creates Brahma. So Brahma is created, and he again creates the living entity and everything. So after Brahma completes his 100 years, so he's like at Brahma Loka 100 years is different than what we see 100 years of human life or material life. So we'll quickly see that 4 yugas, Kala Yuga takes is 4.4 million years. Then multiplied by 2 is Dwapar Yuga. Multiplied by 3 is Treta Yuga, and multiplied by 4 is Satya Yuga. So when we combine all these 4 yugas, is called one Divya Yuga. And such 1000 Divya Yugas, when they combine, it makes one day of Brahma. Okay, there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Vidu Ratri Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratro Vidu Jana. So Sahasra Yuga Paryantam, such 1000 cycles of such 4 yugas, that makes just one day of Brahma, and such is one night. Okay, and such 100 years Brahma lives. So it is like 300 billion 40 million years. This is what is Brahma's age around this calculation. So of this earthly years, and Brahmaloka he lives for 100 years. So Brahmaloka 100 years is equal to this many years of earthly planet. So this is how long is Brahma's life, and after Brahma's life finishes, he along with all of us and every living entity, everybody goes inside the very big body of Mahavishnu, universal body of Mahavishnu, and they rest there for again 100 years of Brahma, and after that again everything is created. So this cycle is on and on, it's never ending. Okay, we'll see this later tomorrow. Thank you very much. Any question? Hemang Prabhu or anyone? Okay, thank you so much. We'll see you all on Sunday. We have a guest lecture. Haribol Ranesh Prabhu. So we have Sunday guest lecture at 6 o'clock by Sachidananda Vigraha Prabhu. He took our first lecture, guest lecture, and yeah, he's a very good preacher, and he's also from IIT Kanpur. And so please try to attend. It will be on Bhagavad Gita and probably the last lecture on Bhagavad Gita, because on 21st of October we are having a quiz screening round. So yeah, this will be the last guest lecture on Bhagavad Gita, and then we'll start from next Sunday or so. We'll start the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is included in the final quiz of Bhagavad Gita. So this will be the last lecture on Bhagavad Gita introduction, guest lecture. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.